Good morning. Beautiful and oh so beloved children of God. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Sunday celebration service. We're so glad that you could join us here at Park Hill Congregational UCC. I'm the Reverend Larissa Romero. I am the senior minister here, and we need you to know that we are the better for you being here this morning. So welcome. Yes, absolutely. A huge thank you to all of our volunteers. Tech team, thank you so much for making it possible for us to connect with our online community. Would you mind turning around for a second and just waving to our online community? Hello, we're so glad that even though you cannot join us on site, you are still in person with us, worshiping from afar. We love you and we miss you, and we hope we get to see you soon. A huge thank you to our beautiful music ministry for all the ways in which they make sure that we sing a joyful noise. To all of our incredible volunteers, to all of our incredible staff. Anya, we haven't gotten to really recognize you in a little bit. Would you mind just standing up and saying hello? Anya is our Sunday school teacher and takes such good care of our littles. We're just so blessed by the many hearts and hands here. And so with that, we are going to start off our celebration for this Sunday worship with our liturgist, our leader of the work of the people, Pat Gaskins, who will lead us in our invitation to worship.
In life and death, we belong to God. God is the world that births us. God is the love we practice. God is the community we make. God is the creator who transitions us through life to death to life again. Come, resurrected Christ. Come, transcendent mystery. Come, embodied Jesus. Come, Spirit of new life. Draw us ever nearer to the kingdom, that holy place where love is made eternal. Please rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn, number 569, Touch the Earth Lightly.
Beloveds, may the peace of Christ be with you, and also with you. Let us pass the peace.
Interesting history.
Okay, would any young or young of heart like to join me up front? We have today a continuation of the same story that we have been reading since last week and will continue reading all month. And for those of you who don't, do any of you recognize this book? Yeah. Read out of it a few times. And this is the Bible that we've given to our elements. Oh, you have a miniature one. Oh, yes, it's a miniature Bible. It's a smaller Bible. It's a storybook Bible, and it's written by Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And this is the Bible that we use and we give out for our elementary school aged children. And in it, there actually is a rendition of the story that we all have been learning. So I'm going to read this to us. We'll pray together, and then you will get to talk about all of the ways in which you have your own powers to effect change in the world. Interestingly enough, I'm going to point out something that is wrong with the book already, which is that this says Jeremiah the boy prophet. Jeremiah was called when he was a boy, so he heard the voice of God saying, I think you're going to grow up and you're going to be a prophet to everybody in your community, but also to the whole world. So he heard that call when he was a boy. But when he went to see the potter, as you see in this picture, he was actually an adult at that point. So there was some creative license taken, but that's okay. So this story is, one day, God spoke to Jeremiah, I have chosen you to be my prophet. Jeremiah was afraid. I am only a boy, he said. I won't know what to say. I will tell you the words, God said, touching Jeremiah's lips. Even before you were born, I chose you. God showed Jeremiah a branch of an almond tree, which is the first tree to bloom in spring. Jeremiah knew then what God meant. He would make Jeremiah's work blossom like the almond tree. Then God sent Jeremiah to a potter's house. Jeremiah watched as the potter formed a jar of clay on his wheel, but the jar was lopsided. So the potter took the wet clay and reshaped it until at last it was whole and perfect. My children are like clay in my hands, God said. If they let me, I will make them whole and perfect. Jeremiah served the Lord as a prophet for 40 years and tried to teach people how to live and be shaped by God's love. If I recall, you all made pots last week. A variety of different things. You were able to experience what it meant to shape and reshape clay, to make and remake things, and the invitation for all of us to be remade sometimes, to learn and to grow. That's just part of what we get to do as God's people. So I'm going to invite us to say this beautiful prayer that Archbishop Desmond Tutu wrote for us, and then you'll get to go to Sunday school to learn even more about how you have the power to shape and reshape. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for giving purpose to everyone's life, including mine. Amen. All right, beloveds, have fun at Sunday school.
Our prayer of intention this morning says, God, of all seasons, you are close in both joy and grief, delight and sorrow. Your attention is never far away from the needs of your people. Neither birth nor death brings us farther from you, for you are always as near as our own breath. May we be among those who perceive, who feel and touch and notice and seek your divine presence among us, between us, around us, within us, and especially wherever love is needed most. And please join me in the affirmation of grace. Our God of ancient wisdom and emerging truth offers grace freely that you are free to be and free to become. Know this hope in your bones, that love makes all things new. And now we'll listen to Addison. Wow, thank you, Addison. That's I really like that song anyway, and then to have it as a way to center in worship, it's inspiring. Thanks. Our scripture this morning says, the word came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, get up and make your way down to the potter's house. I will give you my message there. So I went down to the potter's house, and there the potter was working at the wheel. Whenever the object of clay that the potter was making turned out badly, the potter tried again, making of the clay another object of whatever sort the potter pleased. Then the word of Yahweh came to me, House of Israel, can I not do to you what this potter does? It is Yahweh who speaks. Indeed, like clay in the hand of the potter, so are you in my hand, House of Israel. At any moment I may announce that a nation or a dominion is uprooted, pulled down, or destroyed. But if the nation I threatened abandons its depraved ways, I will change my mind and not inflict it on the disaster I had planned. At another moment I may announce that I will build up a nation or establish one. But if it does something displeasing to me, refusing to listen to my voice, then I will reconsider the good I had intended to do for it. Now, therefore, say to the people of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, thus said Yahweh, beware, I am preparing a disaster for you, and devising a plan against you. Turn away from your evil life, each one of you. Give up your evil ways, amend your conduct. This is what Yahweh Almighty, the God of Israel, says to all those I carried into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. Build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce. Marry and have sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, so that they too may have sons and daughters. Increase in number there, do not decrease. Also seek the peace and prosperity of the city to which I have carried you into exile. Pray to Yahweh for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper.
So, a quick review of what it is we're reading. What time and place is this text taking? We have the people, the Hebrew people, in the southern kingdom of Judah, and there is incredible exploitation occurring. They've just gone through being overtaken by the Assyrian Empire. They're feeling desperate, they're feeling weak, and so there is all manner of corruption at the highest levels, a huge divide between the rich and poor classes. It is an absolute terror to be anything other than the super elite in the southern kingdom of Judah at this time. And it is at this time that Jeremiah is called to be a prophet. He tries to warn them and tell them a house divided will be conquered, but nobody listens. And so, sure enough, years later, the new empire, the Babylonian Empire, comes in, takes over, and actually takes many of the people there into exile, brings them out of their home and brings them to their own nation's land, so that they can be used in all manner of other exploited ways. So this is the time, Judah, when he's going down to the potter's house, Babylon hasn't quite come yet, but he's anticipating. He's anticipating that there will be a moment where the people of God, we still have a chance to change our ways, but it's looking unlikely, and we're going to need to be reshaped at some point. He goes down to the potter's house, and he sees the potter taking up this good clay and seeing it, as we heard with the littles, get a little lopsided, and then taking that still good clay and remaking it again. So, as much as we hear so much doom and gloom, and I'm going to say blame and shame in the text that we just read and heard, right? We're hearing a lot of blame on God's people. You're the reason that I'm going to bring this destruction. It's very threatening to be speaking with God's words in those ways. I'm going to make the proposition first that God's representation here is a reflection of Jeremiah's own religious trauma that he's experienced, the ways in which he's inherited a very threatening God. That even so, as he's offered this beautiful metaphor through the potter's house, God's surplus of love can't help but bubble up and make a bold proposition, which is that humanity is worth remaking anyway. Humanity is worth reshaping always. We are worth that work of reforming again and again and again. I was imagining what it would be like for Jeremiah to walk from the potter's house. We hear him walking up. What is it like for him to walk down? And last week I talked a little bit about Carl Sagan's pale blue dot and what it would mean to have some distance from the potter's house and what the potter was making, and to remember the ways in which we're interconnected. And I imagine him taking that sense of interconnectedness and walking down the street from the temple to the gates of the city. I imagine him seeing a widowed woman being forced from her home, because, of course, widowed women were usually the only women who could own property at that time. And there were all manner of ways in which widowed women were kicked out so that their property could be taken. I imagine him seeing and smelling the blood and sweat of a passing prisoner, experiencing all manner of deprivation. I imagine him tasting water from a well that's too contaminated and undercared for, while knowing the ultra-wealthy are drinking the far safer and more celebratory wine. I imagine him hearing words of seemingly pious people as he gets to the edge of the city gates, praying to a God that requires the sacrifice of orphan children, because this was happening in Jeremiah's time. Folks would pray in their temple to Yahweh and then come outside and try and pray to other gods that involved all manner of horror in the hopes that it would make them richer. And then I imagine me just stepping outside on any given day today. I imagine stepping outside and opening up my phone, and maybe one of the first things I see in the morning is someone being abducted by ICE. Or maybe I am hearing about the children who are kicked off of SNAP benefits right now. I think we do ourselves a disservice if we don't consider that its own form of child sacrifice. I think of the Palestinian children across the world. A third of 70,000. What is that? I can't do math, but that's far too many. Far, far too many to be sacrificed for the rich and powerful's greed. I can see all of this within the first 5 minutes of waking up on my phone. I can walk down Colfax and go to the center on Colfax and hear a man offer up a hate slur. And that same man, I can smell the ways in which his body has not been taken care of. The systems that we provide have not taken care of him. The ways in which he's unhoused. The ways in which he has profound needs for food and drink. And I think of all the ways in which I'll go outside and I'll feel a November day like today, and I feel it warming up. I feel the ways in which this is the latest Denver has gone before the first snowfall. I can feel that just walking outside the door. And I think about climate chaos and all of the ways in which that's going to affect my child and all of our children. And just in those first 10 minutes, it's very easy for my mind to go to a poem. It's a poem I've shared with you before, but I'm going to share it again. It's by poet Maggie Smith. She says, "Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious ill-advised ways. 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible. And that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible. And for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real shithole chirps on about good bones this place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. You children, you next generation, you could make this planet that we are not touching lightly. You can make it beautiful. I have a lot of attraction to that last line. There's a part of me that absolutely wants to turn to my 4-year-old daughter and go like, you're going to make this place better, right? And I want us to shed some judgment for Jeremiah in that moment, because I find myself in saying that I'm experiencing some of the learned shame that can't help but ooze out sometimes when I'm saying, let me pass this on to you to make it better, little one. A shame that has said, I'm not worthy of doing the remaking of this. My generation's not worthy. The people before me are not worthy. You're worthy, though. Don't mess it up, okay? Which, of course, is another mode of passing on some of that blame logic to them, right? I didn't quite get this right, but you go for it. Hope you can do better. We pass on this kind of saviorism to them, and that's linked to a blame mentality. A question of whether we're worthy, a sort of blame the victim. And I wonder how much Jeremiah had placed that blame on himself or had inherited that blame and then just spewed that out. And that's what came out as the God language of, I will, if you don't do this, right? The ultimate threatening language. If you all don't get it all figured out, then I'm going to come in and destroy. So if we're bent on really cultivating care for future generations, perhaps it's not enough to put any one of us, certainly not my 4-year-old, or even a generation of us, it's not enough to put it on them to make this place beautiful, to bring out its good bones. It's not caring for the next generation to make them our saviors. Climate change is too terrible a crisis to simply leave to them to make beautiful or to hand off. Caring for the next generation, and every generation has its struggles that are profound. So to care for them really means to join them in believing in a foundation of hope and vision and radical love that we all take up together. A love that has always been in this creator role of shaping us. And I can't help but think of myself as a parent in the ways in which simply parenting has been reshaping me constantly. I think about how I can start to recognize only now the ways in which it reshaped my parents and brought them new revelations. I remember my sister and I started dance class. I was a little older. She was maybe 4 or 5 when she first started. And it was around Nutcracker time. It was around this time. And we get a call at the house. And it's the receptionist at the dance school. And she says, Aaliyah, my sister, did not show up for rehearsal today. And my parents says, what on earth are you talking about? And they said, well, she's on the list for rehearsal. She's supposed to be a little gnome. My parents said, this is the first we're hearing of this. They go to my sister, and my sister says, yeah, I signed up. Unbeknownst to them, she had just gone over and signed herself up to be in the Nutcracker, and they had no idea. I'm here wondering, how did she get away with doing that? I guess the sign-up sheet was just left out somewhere. But my father's response, I remember this, was so fascinating. He didn't get angry at her, for going and doing something other than, which, as the first child, I certainly got some of that, right? Um, yeah, if I had signed my name without saying anything, it would have been, how could you? But he smiled. I remember him smiling, and he said, I never would have done something like that when I was your age. And that was it. And he was like, all right, we'll set up the rehearsal schedule. And right, there was something about her specifically taking that risk and him being able to recognize, wow, you just outpaced me by sheer will in a way that I never would have anticipated. And he was delighted by it. And that's not to say that both my sister and I don't still struggle with our own forms of risk-taking, right, in ways that might be beautiful. Because we still have some of that generational shame. And it's just something I don't think that we can help. Sometimes we blame ourselves. I'll blame myself if the lights go off and I haven't brought a light bulb with me. Which is ridiculous, right? But that's something that I've internalized. And so there's still these modes in which, yes, still learning. And I'll see Frida, get up onto a huge mulch pile in our backyard, absolutely naked, and just scream, I am Frida! And I think I never would have done that. And I'm absolutely delighted by it. I'm absolutely delighted that she has a greater sense of freedom than I will ever have. And even so, I'm still worth reshaping and trying to seek that freedom too. Just like we generationally, wherever we are within our generations, we are worthy of reshaping and seeking that which needs to be healed for us too. We don't have to leave all of the healing to the next generation. Our children are born worthy, and as children of God, so are each of us. And trying our best from where we are, whatever that where is enough to keep that good in us fighting on. From the beginning, Jeremiah latches onto this story of the potter that can't help but point to how good the clay still is. Those good bones. Despite the blame. And by the exile, so by the end of the passage that we read, which is really, we jumped ahead a bit to chapter 29, right? After the Babylonian exile has occurred. Gets to a place of saying it's okay to start with the imperfect place, at the imperfect place that we are. Because there is enough good stuff in us. It is enough to trust and believe in the way God believes that we are each of us worthy and we're created worthy. I'll reiterate, God is not a man up in the sky for me. I don't expect a magic hand to come down and wave a wand and make it better. Or worse, for that matter. I don't worship a God who smites those I know to be performing evil in the world. And I don't believe in a God that has the only hand in trying again. I think we bits of clay and good bones have some agency too in our relationship with God. There is a great mystery that I rely on that believes that we are worthy of transformation somehow because of the way we love each other in flesh and blood. That generates its powers far beyond my immediate or even ultimate understanding. That trusts when we take up love for one another and peace in the name of each other, We generate and are a part of something even beyond the us that join it. That's the paradox of the divine human Jesus for me, that mystery. We are shaped and even engage in our Creator's reshaping by taking on that love. None of us have to settle for those first 5 minutes in the morning. And at the end of this prophetic text, even Babylon, which, by the way, is probably the closest we get in the whole of our sacred texts, except maybe Rome itself during Jesus' time, the closest we get to the level of exploitation, corruption, and oppression that we exemplify in the United States right now. Even Babylon, by the end of this text, and their power-wielding super elite, all of that ends. It ends. It does fall. It does not last. So I'm wondering, what else do your good bones feel? Jeremiah also smelled the almond branches in the first of spring. He saw this potter not giving up at the wheel. I wonder how many hugs Jeremiah experienced. I hope a lot. Because I know that's one of the main things that I get to feel that reminds me we don't have to settle for this. Especially my daughter's fierce hug. If you haven't seen it or experienced it, it's her whole body. It's electric. Next week, we'll be really delving into how our community's hands are the Creator's hands. And we'll look at how an intergenerational series of relationships, actually changed the course of how we understand free speech in this country. Just to show a way in which what we all offer up is intergenerational beloved community, and church is one of the last places of that in our culture. The ways that that creates significant change. But right now, for today, I just want to offer up a simple prayer and hope for all of us. I hope you feel in your very good bones. I hope you feel your worthiness for remaking and reshaping, for transformation, for changing again and again. I hope you can trust and have faith and hope that we, as fallible, constantly reforming humans, we as a species, that we are worthy of reforming together too. That there is enough of that inherent worthiness in all of humanity to keep believing and trusting in that. Because despite all of the sad, threatening language that Jeremiah brought to the text, I think Jeremiah also deeply believes that God sees our inherent worthiness as well. Let us pray. God, you are near to us, and we know that your hands are our hands. We take up the reality of radical love that you call us to, in big ways and small ways. We ask that you help us in gently reshaping the hearts and minds of one another, not just through the words that we say, but through the actions we take. May we always remember that there is more to the possibilities of humanity, and that we are all worthy of those bold new possibilities. And you join us in those. Amen.
Now we will receive tithes and offerings. Anything that goes into an offering envelope located in the seats behind you will be given to our church operations. Loose cash will be given to our mission partner of the month, Metro Cares.
Thank you, choir. At this time, we'll lift up our prayers for one another. If you have a prayer that you would like to share and for that to be held with the community, Mindy will run to you with the mic so that you can share. And after you've shared, we'll all affirm that prayer together by saying, Lord, hear our prayers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Next Tuesday morning at 9:30, my daughter Elle is scheduled for a C-section, and she's gonna hopefully be bringing a beautiful baby girl into this world. And so I'm just asking for prayers.
For Elle, we say, God, hear our prayers.
I have a prayer of joy this morning. Joy that the Schmidt family is together. George's two brothers and their families are here. And joy that someone all the way from Lone Tree found us on the internet, drove up here, Ed, we're glad to have you with us.
Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome.
I ask for prayers for my 69-year-old niece who entered hospice yesterday. I ask for prayers for her and for her family as they go through this transition.
Together we say, God, hear our prayers.
I received a word from Norman Michaud and his wife Sarah. Norman had been in care in this congregation in the ordination process, and he's now in Massachusetts. They found a mass on his pancreas, and so they're asking definitely for prayers. He'll be able to do a Whipple surgery on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. So please hold them in your prayers. His mother had died of pancreatic cancer. So lots of things are running through his heart and mind. So please send up prayers to Norman and Sarah.
We say, God, hear our prayers.
I have two prayer requests. One, a prayer of joy for my sister Sarah visiting from Massachusetts today. And a second, for myself in the message of Good Bones, I felt the need to reform. And over the past 8 weeks, I've had 2 total knee replacements. So I'm asking for prayers of continued recovery.
Oh, lay in the back.
I have a prayer request for my family and my mom. We lost our Aunt Gail this morning.
For the Brewer family, for their beloved Aunt Gail, together we say, God, hear our prayers.
I have a request for healing. Sean is getting over strep throat, and Claire and I have been dealing with something weird this whole past week, and she and I are supposed to fly to Boston tomorrow, and Graham has a thing out of town, so Sean is supposed to be staying with a friend, and our week is very complicated, and we can't afford to be sick. So any prayers for healing would be really great. Thank you.
For the Foreman family, that they may heal very, very quickly, we say, God, hear our prayers.
I have been trying to get the attention of a writing agent, and I think she really likes my work, but she hasn't been very responsive. I think that that's because she's going through a lot in her own life. I see a lot of stuff that she's posting on Facebook, and she's really having a hard time. So maybe if we lift up prayers for her life, then maybe she'll be able to settle down and think about me.
For the possibilities of better attention for Mary, and her good work in her writing, we say together, God, hear prayers. Beloveds, let's pray. Holy One, you are the great accompanier. You walk side by side with us, no matter what the circumstance. You join us in all of our sorrows and all of our tribulations. You also join us in our great joys. The many forms of beauty and hope and happiness that you offer up on a regular basis. And so we lift up great thanks for these. We recognize to all that might be on our hearts but has not gone spoken. We know, God, that you accompany us even in those things we keep just to ourselves. And so we lift all of these prayers, these hopes, these dreams We lift them together as your beloved community, while also remembering the prayer you once taught us. Our Creator, holy is your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Some things for share back before we sing our final song today. We created a couple weeks ago an altar of remembrance. If you would like to bring the flower that you created home during that Sunday, please make sure you do so. And if you put specific personal items on the altar, make sure that you take those home as well. Our little free library, we had decided last week through kind of just a general round of hands that we would turn our little free library into a little free food pantry while SNAP benefits were cut. And so that has been converted. You can start adding things now to that if you would like. And of course, you can always keep bringing in food for Greater Park Hill Food Pantry. Special thanks to Martin and to Rob. I just saw Rob. Where's Rob? And Rob for making sure that those get regularly to our food pantry, which I want to say again, incidentally, does a really wonderful job of making sure that it does not feel a patronizing experience to go in there, but they do make sure that folks go in and they shop for what they would like. So love that they have that mutual aid mentality. We have a Friendsgiving potluck coming up in just 2 weeks, so please make sure that you sign up for that. And we have pictures here. Please keep sending in the pictures of all the ways in which you're engaging. You're out there fighting the good fight. You're at the protest. You're giving a testimony. Whatever work that you're doing that is reminding us that we are worthy and have those good bones that we're going to keep fighting for. This is Kat, and Kat, would you like to say something just about what you're doing here?
So this was at in the summertime. The two women here that you see, the one on the right is my buddy Suzanne, who is kind of probably my most frequent protest buddy, and she goes out with me, and we stand on the corners and we wave at people, and they honk, and then on the left, my left, or on our left today is my friend Andrea, who is from Bolivia. She is a missionary in Bolivia and comes frequently to the United States, and she was living next door to us this summer, and invited her to join me in a protest in the short time that she was here, and she came out and spent a few hours. So certainly a love that that several of us have. And I yesterday joined Will and Jess and Elizabeth, and we had a great time on the corner of 8th in Colorado, and I think Jess has a picture of the whole group from Park Hill that was there yesterday. We also had some fun special guests, and this is Andrea, and she and her son made this sign, and it just happens to be Michael 6:8, which is my verse.
Thanks so much, Kat, for sharing. Again, always feel free. We need to keep generating the hope amongst ourselves. And we have Senna today.
Yeah, we wanted to share what we worked on today. Senna, do you want to say anything, or you just want to stand? Okay, so today we are talking about stewardship, and we made some stewardship challenges for us to take home, but also for all of you to take home. So when you go out there, you're going to see taped around some pretty simple challenges that can make a big impact on someone's life, and we want to challenge you to take 2 home with you to do during this week to make someone's life a little bit better.
Thank you. Thank you, Senna. Mindy.
As probably most of you know, several of us sing with the Colorado Choir, and we actually have a free concert this coming Saturday that is also a food drive, speaking of feeding the hungry. Last year when we did this, we brought in 700 pounds of food, so we're hoping it will be a pretty big event, but it's sort of a mini version of our Christmas concert. Paul and Steve and I will be there singing, and so that is this coming Saturday at 2:00. So you can see Paul or me for more info. And our Christmas concerts are coming up December 5th and 6th. And if you didn't know, our additional pianist, it's a 4-hand piano part, will be played by Ms. Billy Busby Smith. So there will be 4 of us to come support. So it should be a great time. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Mindy. That's a great invite.
I have 2 announcements, fun things. First is the Thanksgiving potluck 2 weeks from today. Please go online and sign up. Last year we had, I think, 2 salads and 14 desserts, which isn't a bad thing. And there's also a sign up to help. We really need some help to set up and then also to clean up afterwards. And then on December 6th, which is a Saturday, we are from 2 to 4. We're going to celebrate the new little one that Larissa is her daughter keeps telling me is carrying in with her. So they have a lot of baby stuff already. And so what we're going to do is have a diaper shower, and every new parent needs lots of diapers. So we need diapers and wipes if you want to come and participate. And men, this is a co-ed event. You can come to a baby shower, and it's again from 2 to 4 on Saturday the 6th.
Thank you.
All of you who have been around here for a while know what it means when I stand up in November. It's time to start collecting socks. That's right, Skip. We will be collecting socks for the next, I think it's 5 Sundays, for the Senior Service Center and also for Women's Homelessness Initiative. We need warm socks, not dress socks, and not short cuff socks. These are people that are on their feet and on the street a lot. So start bringing them next week. I intended to have the boxes out here this morning, but I couldn't find them this morning. So I promise you I'll find them and have them out here by next week. So any socks that you pick up while you're shopping for other things will be welcome. Thanks.
Thanks.
This is the 15th year
Perfect.
I'm sure you know why I'm here. All you parents and grandparents, this is a wonderful opportunity for your children to be involved in music here at the church. There are flyers out on, I think, every surface, plus basically just a quick overview. We will be teaching basic music skills. What is different this year is that we have a ballet dancer in our very own congregation who is dancing Nutcracker this year. And she will come and do with her dance partner a segment on Nutcracker. So that might be one that you adults would like to come see as well. The third thing that we're doing is for those parents who would like their children to sing or participate in the Children's Sunday, we will do the preparation of the music. That will include work with English handbells and singing and dancing. So the youth will also have an opportunity. Pearl and I are working it out, and once she's back in town, we'll have I'm looking at you guys, at an opportunity to relearn the English handbells. So anyway, that's it. So you may see me or email, but Francis and Lay have the registration materials, and they will be out in the narthex afterwards.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you for coordinating some really beautiful music for our holiday season. That will be really exciting. Yes, with all of your great helpers too, absolutely. We're grateful for all of you. Larry, would you close us out with your stewardship moment for us today?
Is it on? It is. Thank you. I have a request on behalf of the Finance Committee and an exciting announcement to share. But first, leading up to Commitment Sunday, I would like to share why I give time and resources to this church. And I promise you, I did not coordinate with Pastor Larissa and her sermon. I was too busy texting George last night about the amazing Vanderbilt win in overtime. I knew he didn't know anything about it, so I thought I'd let him know. Last week, the adaptive team shared our God-sized dreams. I was proud of these statements, and I've shared them with neighbors and family. But Blake Chambliss, my friend and fellow congregant, kept bringing in my ears action. To paraphrase Brian Stevenson in the film Just Mercy, these God-sized dreams are ideas circulating in our minds on how to change the world through community. However, we realize we can't change the world with only ideas in our mind. We must have conviction in our hearts. This community has been my prime motivator to help me remain hopeful, because I know that hopelessness is the enemy of justice. Hope allows us to push forward when truth is distorted by the people in power. Good words from Brian Stevenson. I realize that my volunteer efforts and financial commitments demonstrate my conviction that Park Hill Church is a beacon of light in a seemingly endless sea of darkness and injustice. Please join me in that conviction before next Sunday, if you can. And in this spirit, the Finance Committee desperately asks all to turn in their pledges early. We need to finalize a budget, and obviously, pledge commitments are the most important part of this effort. A plea for conviction and not procrastination that we're used to. Thanks. Finally, an exciting announcement. Look in the weekly bulletin or in a special email for the rollout of our church directory through Servant Keeper. There will be a portal link with a church password. In addition, there will be a link for an individual congregant's portal to change their own information and view other information, such as individuals' financial history. This is an exciting beginning in the use of Servant Keeper for our 2026 financial payments and some training that I'll be offering, especially for those that have reoccurring gifts through Servant Keeper. And finally, to paraphrase Phil Campbell's words, let's keep trying to do the right things together in community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Larry. And thank you to the whole finance team. You all have been putting in months of work, and it's just incredible. So thank you for that. With that, beloveds, let's share our final sending song together. Number 541, They Asked, Who's My Neighbor? Please rise in body or in spirit to share in singing this song together. Beloveds, may we be fierce in our love for each other, fierce in protection of the targeted, fierce in proclamations of resistance to domination, fierce in pursuit of a more holy way, where no one falls through the cracks or gets left behind or abandoned to fend for themselves. We proclaim the good news with our lives. Love is with and for us, now and forever. And may all God's people say, Hallelujah. Amen.